John Mason.
The objectives of my speech are very clear. I intend to probably not follow them. Thank you very much. But I did want to talk about the rites of passage. How many people here understand the concept of the rites of passage? Did anybody here have a ceremony, a graduation, a wedding, something in your life where you felt like you moved from one level to the next? And that's truly what the rites of passage are. But tonight I wanted to address a time in one's life that it only happens once for a very long period of time, but it's from when we change from being a child to being an adult. And in our society, in our culture, it's recognized in various ways by people with different sets of beliefs. In the Jewish tradition, at 13, a boy might be bar mitzvahed. A girl might be bas mitzvahed at 12. In the Latina and Hispanic community, there's a ceremony called the quinceanera, I believe, and it happens at 15 that takes a young girl to the level of being a woman and having that kind of respect in her community. There's also the very famous and highly emotionally charged Sweet 16 party. Has anybody ever had a Sweet 16 party? I didn't. I don't think boys do that. The problem with many ceremonies and rites of passage programs is that they're sort of general. They don't really target the individual. They don't necessarily tell their story of the work that they have achieved or done to reach the next level in their development. For example, graduation. We graduate from preschool and kindergarten and 6th grade and high school and college, and all we do is walk across a stage and that's the recognition that we get. I'm not sure that is truly a noteworthy achievement. There are other cultures in the world that have a rites of passage program that might seem a lot more severe. Seem is an interesting word. I'm thinking of the Maori, no, not the Maori, the Maasai people in Eastern Africa. And they're hunters and they're warriors. And their tradition is to gather the young boys, age 10 to 20, and they bring them into a ceremony when it's time for them to enter the adult world. They make them drink this liquid, it's blood and it's alcohol and it's milk, and they make them drink that, and then to tap all of that off, just to make sure that they can become a man, they circumcise them, and if they flinch, that's not a good thing. And then they join a warrior camp for 8 to 10 years, and that is their rites of passage. That's a little bit more severe than most kids have to go through in Bellingham. But it has some relevance to the story I'm going to tell you. So it was said in the introduction, I got into backpacking and eventually I became a father, and I didn't really think much about rites of passage. I don't know if you have. Maybe you've had kids, or you know of kids, or you still are a kid and you're not quite an adult, and you want to do something to prove that you're an adult. So when my child was a year and a half old, I gathered 4 of my friends and I went into the mountains, and I put out some maps of the area that we were in. It was in the Devil's Postpile area of the Sierra Nevada. It's in the central part of the California Sierra Nevada. It's high country, and if you start at a low elevation, low meaning about 7,600 feet, you can follow a trail up about 8 or 9 miles, and you get up to about 9,700 feet. And there is a spectacular lake called Minaret Lake. I have a picture of Minaret Lake in here if you want to see it. It is spectacular. It's God's country. On that trip, I brought a Japanese exchange student with me who had no knowledge of mountaineering, backpacking, high country, but he wanted to be a mountaineer. And as he was going up that trail, I realized what an arduous thing it was, because he would look back on me and he would give me that look in his eye that said, "Are you trying to kill me?" what is wrong with you? And I realized that it was quite a difficult climb. When he got to Minaret Lake, he looked around and he got it just like that. It was spectacular. It is the best piece of the high Sierra that I have ever been in. And the rest of our trip, as we voyaged another 40 miles in a loop, was spectacular country. And I said, I want to bring my son here. He's a year and a half. In the coming years, I began to prepare him for that. I took him backpacking for the first time at 4 years of age. That wasn't a good experience. But I stuck with it. And every year, our trips got longer and harder, and the responsibilities that he had grew stronger. And his participation grew more. When he was 15, I gathered 5 of my friends and my son, and we went back to do that hike again. Now I'm 50, and it's a lot harder to get up that first hill. Mountain, actually. But when he got there, he had accomplished something. And he was part of the team. The 7 of us men in that group worked together. And we celebrated the fact that he, the youngest one with us, could not only do that, but he could accomplish his role. His role was to hang the food at the end of the evening to help make fires. And we saluted him, we toasted him in that special way, similar to that tribe, by getting him drunk, not really, on our concoction called tequila. Tequila is hot chocolate with a little tequila in it. He felt like a man being part of that process. And I challenge you to think of the ways that we can serve the youth, the people that we know, our children, our grandchildren, our nieces, our nephews, our cousins, whatever, and help them to be identified, to work towards a goal, and then accomplish something to get to that next level, and really enter the adult world in a way that they will remember for the rest of their lives. I was blessed to be able to do that. The connection with my son was so positive and powerful, it was spectacular. And to this day, he loves being in the high country, with me or without me. And I thank God that I was able to share that love with him. Thank you. Mary, may I have 90 seconds?